they kind of know where they fit within the scheme. They know where the other guy's going to be, so they're able to communicate without communicating, which gives you a chance to do some really good things. As long as they get the call from the sideline, last year we were focusing them on talking to each other on every single play so that they would echo each other's assignments so they could talk each other out of assignments. This year it's more focused on making sure we do the intricate details, make sure that the leverages are correctly, and it'll help with our tackling, it'll help with our pursuit because those guys know where they're supposed to fit better. And when they get comfortable, especially the first group right now at safety with the Shari and Cam and Evan, those guys, they know where each other fits. And so when they're tracking the ball, whether it's in the air or it's against the run, they're in a lot better shape than they were last year at this point. That comes with experience within the scheme. Those guys have played together last fall and now through spring and all the stuff that we're able to do on our new agility field. It's made a huge difference, and now they just got to execute and make plays.
You said Kyle Soley makes some of the best unathletic plays you've ever seen.
He does.
So does that require him to just be so much more detailed in everything that he does and in the playbook?
I probably pick on Kyle more than I should. He can't jump. Now, he knows that, and he witnessed that last night, but I'll say we have 5 elite linebackers with Kyle now. I think he has proven within our structure in our camp that we can count on him. Even when he was sick, he missed a few days with strep throat. He came back and he didn't skip a beat. So, I think I can't say enough about him. Other than his leaping ability, I think he's an outstanding linebacker. And so they'll probably complete some balls over the top of his head that will frustrate us, but he's done a really good job, and I'm excited to see him play this summer. Just what he's done with the structure of his body and everything is awesome.
What's with the Tillman safety position? Is it going to be Evan, or is it still a battle there between him and Wiley?
It's still a battle. Evan is taking most of the reps with the first group. We put Connor in there today. Tyler's, they're both doing a great job. They have different strengths. I think right now Tyler might be a little bit better against the run. Evan has improved dramatically. We've been doing some stuff trying to keep his head up. We talk about all the time, guys that tackle with their backs are bad tacklers. And it's not so much that he tackles with his back, but he ducks his head, which is, it's unsafe. And so give him a lot of credit. The last 3 or 4 days have been a lot better. Tyler's fits have been really good in the pass game. It's probably 50-50 in coverage right now. Ideally, if those guys play 40 reps each in a game, you're probably be as good as if you had one, because at the end of the game, if they've only got 40 snaps under their belt, they're going to be playing harder. And we'll find out who's the best in space, especially in the first game, because they're going to spread us out so much, and we'll see what Evan and Tyler and Connor, what those guys can do. And between the first 2 weeks, we'll see. And then it'll kind of work itself out.
If Kobe and Chase are playing at a very high level, what does that enable you to do as a play caller or
if we can play man coverage, you can stop people from running the ball because your numbers are right every single time. If they can't throw it outside, it makes your third down calls a lot better. We were 42% on third down last year. That's terrible. That's been a huge emphasis in camp. I think the 2 biggest emphasis in camp so far have been third down and 2 minute. And if those guys can lock them down on the outside, you can do a lot more with 9 guys. Like I said, first off, you can stop the run because in man coverage, your numbers are right all the time. If we get a third quarter that's as good as those two, and I think with Tamarcus and Jack and Jordan Clark, one of those guys declares himself equally as good as the starters, and now you can split those. If you play 70 snaps, that's 140. You can split those up between those 3. You can play at a really high level and take some stuff away. And then the more opportunity we have if we can cover those guys, we can do more exotic things with pressures, and then that's where your turnovers come in. And then if they're really good, we can hide all that stuff playing man coverage, and we pump in zone, and it looks exactly the same, and now your interceptions come over and over. So I think those 2 guys being 3-year starters and then finding a third guy, you can play. It gives you a chance to play some really good defense. And if they can't run the ball, if you look at our history from where I was before, we're top 15 in the country in rush defense every year. If they can't run the ball and it's 2nd and 8 and it's 2nd and 7, 2nd and 9, those are easy defenses to call. When it's 2nd and 4, you're just pointing on a board and hoping something works. So it helps you a lot with those two out there. You can do a lot of things, and it's most importantly stop the run because you have two guys that they can't throw it outside.
I've seen you want the defense to get upwards of 20 interceptions, but last year Merlin was the only linebacker that got one. Are you expecting the linebacking core to kind of contribute to that number, maybe a little more than they have?
Most of them probably come from your secondary, where you get a lot of opportunity. I mean, zone eyes on the quarterback, you get a lot of opportunities to break on the ball. If you can disguise the coverages, it's really hard on the quarterback. Where we got a lot of our tips, let's see, over a 3-year period, we went 23, 26, and 15.
Yeah.
The year we had 26, 8 of those were off tip balls that either a DB made in the secondary and a lineman or a D lineman linebacker or another defensive back caught it on the run because they're running their tails to the ball.
Yeah.
We had probably 4 last year. I mean, we had the one against Michigan State that Langston Frederick tips that if Darian Butler's running his tail off instead of just, and that's the difference in running hard and not running hard.
Yeah.
He intercepts that ball on the run. We had one against Oregon State where Rennell Wren comes off the edge and he tips the ball up in the air. And Jalen Bates, same thing. If he's running full speed to the ball, that's an interception and you're probably going to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know, we had about 8 of those last year. They kind of understand that now.
Okay.
We pointed out a couple in practice where those come from. Now, Merlin, what he gives you, he's 6'3". You don't teach that. You don't coach that. Darian's 5'11", 6 foot. There's going to be some balls that go over his head that Merlin might intercept. I said it earlier, Kyle Soley, you don't jump very So, I mean, there's going to be some that go over his head. Tyler Johnson, he does. So those guys, now that we're doing some different things in space, and they're getting better within another year in the scheme, yes. 20 is not there was, I think, 3 schools that had 20 last year.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. I mean, either you're good enough or you're not.
Yeah.
And we got good players. If we can get some pressure up front and we can cover them on the outside, that won't be we get 20 receptions, we're playing. What it does is it changes the game because it creates short fields for the offense.
Yep.
It gives them more possessions. And so, fumbles and turnovers, they change games.
If you play 7 snaps, around what number would you want your first team defensive line playing?
About 40, between 38 to 40, and they can be fresh. We got 7 guys right now that I feel really, really comfortable rotating. So, barring getting somebody hurt, that won't be a problem at all. I mean, you'll see those guys going out like musical chairs like last year, and then when the game's on the line, you got your best players, you put them in the game, and it's pin our ears back and go.
That was my question. Defensive line was a concern because you have a lot of guys in the spring. So what is your take on where they are now?
I think we've made a lot of progress there. I think Roe Wilkins has done a great job adding to our depth. Michael Matus with his body transformation, he came in at 230, he's up to 260, and he's playing at a high level. They have a really hard time blocking him with all the static movement that we do. I think Jermaine Lole is an elite D lineman in the league in our Pac-12. I think DJ, he's been really, really good through camp. And then you got George and Shannon, who have been in our scheme for a year now. George, his knee's a little bit banged up, but we can monitor that so that we can get 30, 35 snaps in a game easily. Shannon, coming off of his back surgery, has been the last 3 days. Now he's got some fresh legs because he didn't practice early on getting banged into, so he looks really good on tape, which he probably looks better than you think he does because he's moving a lot faster than those guys. And now that we're starting to pair back to get them ready to be fresh for game shape, it should balance out. But I think we've got 7 guys within there. And then you add TJ Pesfea to the mix, who over the last, I would say, 6 practices has really made more improvement in those final 6 than he did in the first 8. So I think, and I said way back in the spring, I'm not worried about our D-line. I think we've got a bunch of guys up there. We got a really good playmaker with Jermaine Lole. I think Roe is going to do some things, and Michael Matus will give us some more pressures on the quarterback than we had last year. That it's all about staying healthy so that we keep a 7-man rotation, and then I think we're going to be fine at linebackers too. So we got here's our deal. We've still got a long way to go. They got to play hard. they got to play harder. I mean, today, I mean, you're asking me these questions after today. Is probably I was very, very discouraged with what we did out there today at practice. Now we changed up the tempo on them. We took the pads off. So learning how to practice that way for a young guy group is tough. So they probably heard some colorful language today that I apologize for, but I won't let them be lazy. I won't. The expectation, it doesn't matter what the situation is. I mean, it was 105 degrees out there and sunny. I love it. I mean, I'm getting ready to go run right now and walk through the locker room. Anybody wants to go. It's going to be 105 degrees. I hope at kickoff against Kent State. Now the sun won't be out, and we have a big advantage because it'll be hot, and we'll be used to it. So the last 3 days we practiced in the sun. The first one wasn't very good. Yesterday was better. Today we changed up with the pads. So we've got a young group, so that's our job as coaches to make sure that they stay the line. We got 8 more days before we play, and so it'll be I can't wait. I mean, they're getting a little grumpy of bumping into each other, so it's time to play somebody else. And this happens about this time of year, every camp.
Danny, who do you think will emerge as your top go get the quarterback guys?
I think Jermaine Lole up front and Michael Matus can cause havoc on the quarterback when we do our 4-man rush stuff. Tyler Johnson and Darian Butler off the edge and stuff have been the best so far in the linebacker group. And then when we do our pressures, I mean, if those guys come hard, I mean, they can all get there. So I mean, I think we've got 5 or 6 that we can keep pressure on the quarterback. Now the first game, the way Kent State does, I mean, he's a good runner. So I mean, if he sees any kind of a gap, he's gone. So we've been doing some stuff to try and simulate that. It's tough because he's a big old kid. I mean, I mean, he'll try and run you over. So with the quarterbacks that we're using in practice, it's been a little bit different of the simulation. But we're going to do some stuff to see if we can get to him and see if we can hit him hard enough to.
Have you seen many dual threat quarterbacks as big as he is? He's
No,
pretty big.
he is a big old kid. I mean, he's over 230 pounds. He can run. I mean, he's got a good touch on the ball. I mean, he throws the deep ball very well. So he presents a big challenge. Our deal is we've got to execute and play hard. I mean, they've got to play up to our expectation hard as run their head into a wall. And I love the fact that it's hot outside. I mean, it's a huge advantage that we have because when we get to the end of the season, they're used to it. And I think we have a huge advantage here in Tempe in September. So we're going to take advantage of it. And I think you're better for it. I mean, you make life easy. Why make it hard? Make it grow up.
Now, not so much because